in sub-Saharan Africa, we find that they are in many ways worse off than general statistics show. While women make up more than half of the population and contribute significantly to the economy, they are typically ignored by politicians and banks and have almost no legal protection. Women do much of the work, but men control the money and resources. Women do 80% of the farm labor, but they cannot get farm loans to buy equipment, seeds, animals, or other things they need. Only 1% of farm or business loan goes to women in sub-Saharan Africa.
Oh,
Josh.
indeed, the statistics tell a tad tale. The poverty rate of women in the region is increasing at a faster rate than men, and women actually work harder than men. Statistics show that women in sub-Saharan Africa work an average of 13 more hours per week than men, and the situation is even worse in Uganda. I have brought Raha Farihi to tell you about Uganda. Raha?
Now, why'd you cook though? Why'd you cook?
Alright, Raha.
I live in a small village in Uganda with my 7 children. We are very poor, but we are
7?
able to eat because we grow our food. I have to work very hard, as do my children who are not in school. My husband has gone to work in Kampala, the capital city. He does construction work there, so I am now the head of the household. Miss Mustafa is currently in telling you that I work more than 13 hours more than my husband. He works 8 hours a day at his job. I work at least 3 hours more than that each day.
You mind telling us better?
Yes, Mr. Joshua.
You mind telling us what you do?
My family has a small field to farm. I wake early in the morning before the sun and care for my children before going into the field. All day I farm until harvest. Then I have a table that I take to the village marketplace where I sell some of the vegetables. Besides doing the farm work, I also fish. Usually in the early evening, it is going to add fish to the diets of my children. We have a cow that gives us milk, but she is getting old and does not produce like she once did. I would like to buy another cow someday, but the children are a great help to me. My older daughters no longer go to school because there's much work to do. I want my son, who is 9, to stay in school a bit longer.
Raha, do you mind my asking how old your daughters are?
One girl that helps me is 8 and the twins are 11. The other children are all younger. They help us as much as they can, but I want them to go to school at least for a few years.
Does your husband help you with the money? I mean, does he send money back to you from the city?
He does, but not as much as I would like. He has to pay for his living expenses in Kampala. He sends us what he can.
I would like to point out that this is another huge problem contributing to the poverty of women in Africa. Many men go to large cities and towns to work and leave their wives behind as heads of the household. As Raha says, they send back some of the money, but they spend much of their earnings on food, shelter, and entertainment, so the family does not benefit greatly from their labor. The women become the main support of their families.
There is interesting data about this. Much to the credit of these women, despite desperately low incomes and the quality of the village to work, the children's diet actually shows some improvement. In Rwanda, female-headed households consume 377 more calories per person per day than male-headed households. In Gambia, the increase averages 322 calories. Similar improvements have been noted elsewhere.
How would you explain it?
It is at least possibly due to the fact that women devote more of their household income to food. As a group, they need to be more concerned about nutrition, healthcare, and education. I'd like to go back for a moment though, to the discussion of men in the cities. It is true that they have many expenses and can only send home a small portion of their wages, but this money has been very helpful for rural families. It has helped many pay off debts.
That's true, but I would not want that fact to be misleading. The women and children left behind usually remain extremely poor.
Eden.
Why don't we examine some of the factors that contribute to female poverty rate?
I'd have to say that the root of the problem is that women are not equal to men in Africa. Men are typically better educated than women and have more job opportunities. Men hold all kinds of jobs. Women tend to work either in agriculture or small one-woman businesses. Even in the cities and towns where many women do hold jobs, the jobs are usually lower paying than in department stores, restaurants, hotels, or offices. Most professional women are teachers or nurses. Men control the money in most sub-Saharan countries. Women cannot inherit or own property. Many are mistreated. I brought
Eunice.
Ed here to speak about this problem. She is from Nigeria. Eunice, could you tell us about your circumstances?
My situation may not be typical of all Africa, but it's for my people. It has been almost 2 years since my husband died. I spent the first in mourning, but our period of mourning is not as much from sadness as from tradition. I married very young because my family insisted. Honestly, I was not really sad to lose my husband at age 24. I had worked very hard for him, but he was cruel to me. Still, I had to go through the year-long mourning period. I was taken from my house right after my husband died. They shaved my head and put me in a room. I was not allowed to change my clothes, shower, or comb my hair. I could not leave the room, even for festivals. I was depressed and could not sleep. I could not tell my nightmares from reality. When my mourning period ended, I found out that all my belongings were no longer mine, even the table I used to sell my fruit and vegetables. All of my husband's possessions were inherited by his uncle, since we had no sons. In Nigeria, it is supposedly legal for a woman to inherit her husband's property when he died, but other laws say the property can only be passed between members of the same sex. Clearly, the law favors men. My daughters and I found a way to the Care Relief Center. We have been cared for there, but I hope to buy a small farm someday. I think that Care will be able to arrange a loan for me. I would be thrilled, since all I really know how to do is farm, herd, and fish. I'm also a shrewd businesswoman when it comes to village marketplace.
Thank you, Eunice.
Alright.
You didn't write question mark? What is this name?
Yes, Eunice. Thank you. The story is truly a nightmare, but I can see that you are beginning to rise above the problem. Before we are meeting, I would like us to take a few minutes to summarize what we learned.
Right.
That's
So
it.
what you're gonna do right now is, I copied this twice, I didn't realize it.
Bro's head was shaved.
Just do the first two questions right here, okay? On the back of your paper, which states, write a paragraph summarizing the problems of women in sub-Saharan Africa. Second question, what do you think could be done to help women in the region, either by governments or organizations? Write your answers right there. So, with that passage that we read, what's going on? The rights of women. They basically are not as educated as men. They can inherit property.
They're doing more work.
Yeah, they do more work. So do they get treated fairly?
No.
And they put them in a situation where they can't really gain, can't really do anything but work. So understand the troubles that these women go through just to maintain to live, okay? So answer the questions right here real quick. We'll give you about 5 minutes. And I think we're gonna watch the video. I'm gonna do it like my class.
Write a paragraph summarizing the
What are you doing?
All right. What I'm probably gonna do is next, we're gonna look at half the movie, only about 20 minutes, and we're gonna look at how they mine for gold in Africa. And then that last portion of the day, I don't mind you all.
What are you panting for?
And we can do our study guide. Study guide. That's all I wanted to do for today. Okay?
I think Gang is trying to cross it out. Just a guess. No. I think we're supposed to do the bottom, not the top. I love this guy, bro. Oh, I just realized every single thing you guys see on my phone. That's crazy. I never thought about that. I never thought about that.